Alright, so this is the second video on interior and exterior angles, and the first video talked about the interior angles, again the angles on the inside of the polygon, this video is going to talk about the different types of questions they could ask you about exterior angles. Okay, and so again, exterior angles are on the outside. Okay, and so these are sometimes kind of hard to visualize exterior angles, so the way they'll do it is they will draw lines, okay, and going out from the polygon, like right here. And so, all of these angles right here, the ones I'm coloring yellow, are the exterior angles, okay. And it's not on the Ames reference sheet, but it's kind of easy to remember, I guess. If you were to add up all of these angles, so all in this case, there's 5 of them. You were if you knew the measure, you got your protractor out or something, and you were to measure them all, and you were to add them all up, they would add up to 360. And it's kind of a neat thing. No matter how many sides your polygon has, whether it has 3 sides or if it has 100 sides, the exterior angles, if you add them up, will always add up to 360 degrees, regardless of the number of sides. So it's kind of a neat fact. And they might ask you a question. They might say something like, for example, let's say they said this is a regular pentagon. What is the measure of one of these exterior angles? Okay, and so what you would know is, well, okay, I know all of these. If I took every single one of these exterior angles and added them up, I know they would add up to 360 degrees. So all of the exterior angles would be 360 degrees. But I just want to know what one of them is. And so what I could do is I could say, well, I know they're all the same because it was a regular pentagon, and I could divide it by the number of angles, and that would be 5. So 5 goes into 36 here. 7 times 5 times 7 is 35, so we'll put a 7 there. So that would give me 35. And I subtract 1 and bring down the 0 here, right? Remember how to divide. And 5 goes into 10 2 times, right? 2 times, so that would be 72. So each one of these angles would be 72 degrees. And that's something they're going to ask. Okay? So that's one of the exterior angle problems. Let's look at another type. Okay? So I don't know what just happened there. Okay. Let's go on to another type. And this has to do with what we call supplementary. So if you remember what the word, you had complementary and supplementary. Complementary meant 2 angles added to 90 degrees, and supplementary angles added to 180 degrees. And so if you look here, you have X here is an exterior angle, and this 120 degrees is the interior angles. And so these angles right here, whenever they're right next to each other, the exterior and the interior angles, those corresponding angles, the exterior and interior angles, are always going to be supplementary, or in other words, they're always going to add up to 180. And it kind of makes sense. If you remember, if you think about, what does a 180 degree angle look like, and it looks like a straight line, right? And so, like that right there is a 180 degree angle. It's kind of funny to think about, but that's what it would look like. It's a straight line. And so if you look here, this right here, let me see if I can do it in a different color. This right here is a straight line. And so that's a 180 degree angle all the way around. So this plus this should be 180 degrees. And so to figure out what X is, all I'm going to do is do 180 minus the 120. And whatever left over will give me X. And so 180 minus 120 is 60. So in this case, X equals 60 degrees. Okay, and so again, the exterior angle, the corresponding exterior angle and interior angle are supplementary, or in other words, they add up to 180 degrees. So let's look at one more problem here, and then you can attempt your assessment. So this is a different one. It's a triangle, and it doesn't have to be a triangle, but in this case it is. It could be any polygon, but let's take a look at the question. It's asking us to find X. And so this has kind of got multiple steps, but let's kind of think about how we're going to do this. So to figure out, you might know that the measure of the interior angles of a triangle are going to add up to 180 degrees. And if you didn't know how many degrees were in there, you could always go back and use the formula, right? N minus 2 times 180 to find out the interior angle, or the sum of the interior angles. And what that tells us is all three of these angles should add up to 180. So in the past, what they would do is they would give us two of the interior angles of a triangle, and then we would add those together and subtract from 180, and that would give us this missing angle x here. But what we don't know is we only know one of the interior angles of the triangle. So what we got to do is we got to first find the other one, this one down here. Okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the fact that this right here is a straight line, so that's a 180 degree angle, or that this is an exterior angle and this is an interior angle, and so those should be supplementary, just like we just did on the previous slide. So to figure out this angle right here, we're going to take 180 and subtract it from 100, and we would get 80 degrees. Okay, that's a 0 there. It's 100. I guess so. I'll just use it to know that's 100. So that tells me this angle right here is 80 degrees. And so now what we know is we know two of the three interior angles. And so to find x, well, we know that all three of these should add up to 180. So we'll take 2 and add them together and subtract, and what's left over will give me x. So that's going to be 80 plus 20 is 100. Okay, so we have 180 minus the 100, and what's left over is in fact 80 again. So this angle right here, I guess, is also 80 degrees. All right, and so hopefully now you can pass your assessment and know everything you want to know about interior and exterior angles.